All right, guys, we'll go ahead and get started here. Thank you all for coming. This is your weekly weather briefing for Thursday, May 23rd, 2019. My name is Kyle Thiem, and for this week, we don't have a ton going on, but what we do have going on is going to be, you're definitely going to feel it. It's going to be a week for the record books and not the good kind. Starting off, we're going to have an extremely strong upper level ridge. It's going to bring us some record high temperatures throughout the week. And not a lot of chance of relief throughout the week. Not a whole lot of chances for showers and thunderstorms, but we'll get into that in just a second. Just wanted to dive right in. Right now, this is the upper level pattern overlaid with satellite water vapor. And basically what you can see right now is a really strong upper level low pressure system sitting off into the western U.S., which is actually driving a really strong upper level ridge over the southeastern United States right there. You can even see on the satellite some of the overnight storms that impacted Missouri, caused quite a few nocturnal dampening tornadoes in that region. But because of this overall pattern that's driving all those storm systems in the southern plains out there over the last several days, it's also been acting to help build this upper level ridge over the southeastern United States. And so just showing this animation of what we have so far, this is over the last about 12 hours. This was showing how strong that ridge is right now. Now, this graph is probably going to only make sense to a couple people here, but I'm going to put it into context. What we're looking at is the 500 millibar heights through a sounding climatology. So this is all the upper air measurements that we've ever done over the last 70 years. And this thin red line that you see is actually the records for each given day over the last 70 years of the strongest 500 millibar heights that we've seen. And this little star that you see on that screen is actually where we were at this morning. And so for the context, what that means is that upper level ridge that we showed here in this image here that's building over the southeast, the strength of that ridge is actually the strongest ridge that we have ever seen over the last 70 years to this point in the year. So there's been, for the last 70 years, from January 1st to now, there has never been a ridge this strong that we've observed in the last 70 years. And this is pretty anomalous for any time of year. We can compare that to this moving average that we see for records going into late July and early August, when we really see the strongest 500 millibar ridges set up over our area. And this would be anomalous even for those areas and could set several records, even if it were at that time of year. So to see something like this in late May is extremely anomalous, and we're going to basically have some impacts just because of that. So this is an animation showing that upper level ridge over the next 7 days, what we're kind of expecting. And you see it's not really going anywhere. We're getting into Monday here. It's still in place. Tuesday here, still in place. It's going to start weakening by the time we get into Wednesday, and by Thursday, we finally get back into a more zonal flow, and it's not going to have as strong of an impact over the area. So this is what it's going to be looking like at upper levels. I'll let this play through one more time, and then we'll take a look at what we're actually going to be seeing near the surface, because when we have this strong of an upper level ridge, it tends to drive a really strong high pressure system near the surface that keeps the air stagnant, it keeps the storms suppressed, and that's really what we're going to see. So this is today, the surface analysis, what we're expecting today, this afternoon. You can see here we have a little bit of rain and shower thunderstorm chances that we're going to be seeing from the northeast Georgia mountains down in through, it's not filled in here, but it is there, and I'll show it in a second. We could have a chance of thunderstorms right into that area in the northeast Georgia portions of the forecast area. But by the way, we get into tomorrow, high pressure in place, same for Saturday there, Sunday, Monday, high pressure. It finally starts to back off a little bit Tuesday, but we still have this ridge line that we can see here coming in from the southern Atlantic. And then finally by Thursday, we finally start to see that ridge starting to back off a little bit. And we might get a little bit of relief, not a ton, but a little bit of relief from some of these high temps. So just looking at what we've actually broken so far, it's not a ton, but it's still significant and shows a sign of what's to come. Here in Atlanta, we set new records for the record high minimum daily temperature. So that's the lows We've never seen get this high, and that was set both yesterday and this morning. Columbus set a record high minimum daily temperature today as well, 74 degrees, previously 73. And we've tied not only the record high temperature yesterday in Macon at 97, but also tied the record high minimum daily temperature today at 72. So it's just kind of a sign of things to come, and unfortunately it looks like it's going to get worse. So we'll start at all 4 of our climate sites. We'll start with Atlanta. And what we're looking at here with the bar chart is what we're expecting the daily high and daily low, the daily maximum, daily minimum temperatures to be for each given day from today through Wednesday. These dashed lines are where we should be normally for this time of year. So you can see how far those bars are above where we're supposed to be for normal this time of year. And these dotted lines that you see above and below are our record highs and our record lows for each given day. So looking at Atlanta here, what we can see is we're actually forecasting record highs from Saturday through Tuesday. And actually, I put a little note on here for the all-time record high for the month of May is 97. So right now, we're forecasting that we could break that record on Monday and possibly tie it on Tuesday. So that's obviously going to be pretty significant. For Athens, a little bit higher of an all-time May temp is 100 degrees, but we're still going to be breaking possibly 5 daily maximum temperatures in a row. Saturday through Wednesday, we're looking at highs in those upper 90s in that region. Looking at Columbus, it's going to be even hotter. All-time record high for Columbus is 100 degrees for the month of May, and right now we're forecast to tie that on Monday and Tuesday. It did look like we might be a little bit warmer on Sunday there. We could have broken that record, and it's still to be determined if we will. But we back up a little bit because we look a little bit more moist right now than we did before, which I'll highlight here and talk about a little bit more detail here in a second. But still, Columbus, we have 5 days right now where the forecast high is set to break the daily high temperature records are Saturday through Wednesday, and it's the same case for Macon. We have 3 forecast days to be 100 degrees, hitting that triple-digit mark. The all-time record high for the month of May for Macon is 99. So we could possibly tie that 2 days on Sunday and Wednesday and possibly break it Saturday, Monday, and Tuesday. So it still remains to be seen. This is still a forecast, so we'll see how it pans out. But just to give a sense, of what we're going to be dealing with for the rest of this week, we're going to be setting daily high temperatures multiple days in a row, most likely at all 4 of our climate sites. So kind of shows how anomalous this pattern is going to be for us. Getting into our heat index a little bit, I sent out an email 2 days ago to our partners, and at the time it looked like we might be a little bit drier. So ironically, our heat index was going to be about the same as our high temperature, but right now it looks like we're going to have a little bit extra moisture coming in. So this is the heat index coming in on Saturday, and what we can see here is basically a line from Athens down to Columbus to the southeast, right in the I-85 corridor there, and to the south and east. We could be hitting those triple digits as far as the heat index goes. And ironically, this is just below our criteria for heat advisories, but given how early in the time of year it is, this isn't late summer when we might be not expecting these, but they'd be a little bit more, climatologically in the right time of year. But given how early these are occurring, and given that we do have the holiday weekend this weekend, where we're going to have, families out enjoying time outside, this could be, kind of hazardous there. So right now we're kind of in that debate about possibly even issuing these heat advisories, especially for these southern areas as the week goes on. So be sure to look out for those if they do come down the pipe. If not, we'll definitely be issuing at least some kind of products relative to these criteria, just given how anomalous it is. I did mention, though, we do have a little bit of precip chances today. That's going to be occurring, again, the I-85 corridor and a little bit to the north and to the west, but they're not high. We're going to be looking at maybe some scattered chances, looking at some of the high-res models, just some scatter pops, similar to what we had yesterday outside that really strong storm out there in Oglethorpe County. But just, some similar pop-up storms, maybe a little bit of thunder in there, cannot be ruled out. But it was really going to be scattered. We're not expecting really much accumulations from this. They're going to be really small, if any. The rest of the 6 days, that's all we got. We don't really have much accumulations the next 6 days. After that, precip chances are going to be really, really limited. Looks to come back, maybe by the end of the forecast period. By the time we get into Wednesday, Thursday, we might have some higher, slight chance pops by the time, the forecast gets here. But we really have to have that upper level ridge break down before we start getting those pop chances back. So what's that going to do? So our drought summary. So right now, this is what we look like. It's actually surprisingly not that much different than what we had a week ago, but given just how dry we're going to be, and given that we're not really expecting many accumulations, especially southeast of the fall line, where we've had limited precip chances over the wintertime months. Where it's a white right up here, that's where they got all the rain over the last several months. But really down here in these abnormally dry areas, in the D1 moderate drought areas, we didn't really get a whole lot of rain going in the last several months. And given this period where we're going to be setting record high temps, fuels are already really dry out in these areas, the short-term fuels. We're not really going to be getting a whole lot of those relative humidities. It's going to, they're going to be really dry too. So I did mention in my email we could be expecting some fire danger statements down here, later on this week, and that's still going to be possible, especially kind of in these areas right there in central Georgia. Given that we're not going to get hardly any rain down there in the next 7 days, and it's going to be abnormally hot, we're going to have a lot of drying in those areas, and that drought is likely to grow more widespread and intensify here over the next week. So looking at our 6 to 10 day outlook, this is getting into the end of May right to the start of June, and you can see here, even once that ridge looks like it starts breaking down, we're still going to be above normal in the heat. We might not be setting records at that point, but we still might be, almost 10 degrees above normal at that point. And as far as precip goes, we still don't really start building that in. We're below normal precip in that 6 to 10 day outlook. When we get into next week, this is the 8 to 14 day outlook. So this is getting into early June, that first week of June. As far as our precip goes, we actually start to even out somewhere in between below normal and, above normal. We're right there in that normal range. So what we're likely to see probably is a return of some of our scattered showers and thunderstorms. But look at our temperatures here over on the right here. We're still look like we're going to be well above normal. Might not be borderline records or at least, a couple degrees below them. Seeing temps, 5, especially around 10 degrees above normal is kind of what we're expecting next week as well. So really not a ton of relief over the next 14 days, I hate to tell you guys, but it's going to be hot out there with really limited precip. So looks like we could start drying out, and that could, bring some severe drought back to the area if possible. So just summarizing everything up, it's going to be a rough week out there for anybody outside. Be sure to stay inside with your air con. Right now we got that extremely strong upper level ridge. It's setting in. It's going to be in place almost all week long. That high pressure is really going to cause, be settling in over the area, and that's going to bring those daily high temperature records, and even the daily high minimum temperature records, which is actually really important whenever it comes to mitigating that heat risk, especially for vulnerable populations. Once we start getting in that time period of not getting below 70 degrees for several days and days and days on end, we can have a lot of problems with that with vulnerable populations. So, not only having those daily highs up there, but those daily lows not really getting low to bring some relief could cause some impacts. And again, once we get into that middle of the week there, Saturday through next Tuesday or Wednesday, we're looking around 15 degrees above normal. All-time high records for May could also be broken in several locations. We're going to be monitoring that for all 4 of our climate sites. It's already forecast for, I think I remember, 3 out of 4 climate sites. And that heat index is going to be worse on Saturday. Saturday's going to be the worst day, but that's going to be pretty comparable to what we're looking at Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. But we're getting that heat indices, in the triple digits there along in southeast of I-85. And then not a lot of chance for precip this week. It's going to be really dry. We got some slight chance for some showers, thunderstorms up in the northeastern portions, north and west and along I-85 today, but otherwise it's going to be pretty dry the rest of the week. So we're going to see what happens this next week, and it's probably going to be a copy paste next week. Hopefully going to be a little bit cooler. I mean, not by much. So. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. We have our phone number briefing page here. I just uploaded our slides to that website, weather.gov/FFC/briefings. If you have any questions, feel free to type them into the chat room. If you are calling in, I can unmute the lines. I don't think we have very many people in there too. But if you are calling in, we've unmuted the line. So feel free to ask any questions, and I'll do my best to answer them for you. All right, I'm not seeing anything come in, so with that, I'll just say thank you all for coming. It's going to be a warm one out there, but I hope you all enjoy your week and join us next week. Thank you.